Everybody, this is Liz Brobst, the librarian at North Penn High School, and I want to show you how to use the U.S. History and Context database here at North Penn. Step number 1 is to get to the high school library homepage. Whichever your favorite route is to get there, make your page look like mine. From there, on the left-hand side, you'll see a link for databases. It's the third link from the top in the gray menu on the left, and click Databases. A minute ago, I said that we were going to use the U.S. History and Context database. So of these categories, I will pick history. And then U.S. History and Context is this yellow one right here, second from the top. You probably have used a Gale database before, maybe for your English class and your critical paper, maybe for a different project. So they all look pretty much the same and they all work pretty much the same. They just have their own different specialty. In this case, it's U.S. History and Context. So I'm just going to click this big yellow button and get going. It will open up a new window for me, and hopefully this looks vaguely familiar to you. The very first thing I want to do is click at the top in the middle to sign in with Google. And this will save my sanity a little bit in the future because it will allow me to save my articles directly to my Google Drive, which means that I won't have to hunt for them later. It means that I can save them right away and they'll be right in my Google Drive. From here, there are a few different ways for you to search. I'm going to show you how to browse topics, how to do a basic search, and how to do an advanced search. First up, we can click right up here, this Browse Topics button in the top left. And there are about 40 bazillion topics here in the U.S. History and Context database. And you can scroll through and look at them and see if your topic is on this list. And if you are, you can consider yourself lucky because it will give you a really good introduction, a really good explainer of your topic as a whole, and give you some good sources. This is a really great way to start if you aren't sure what you want your thesis to be, if you're still figuring out your research question. So let's say I wanted to talk about George W. Bush, for instance. I'm going to click on him. And you can see right away I have some introductory information on George W. Bush. It's still loading. Hang on. And over here on the right, you can see that it breaks it down by the type of content. I get images, which may or may not be helpful to you. You get videos, which you can absolutely use in your papers. Some audio, so this might be some recordings of interviews with him or speeches that he gave. And there's also primary sources, which you might be required to use in your paper. So as I scroll down, I can see the different categories. I can just click on the heading of the category if I want to open up. If I want to open up more primary sources, I would just click on primary sources. And then you can see it's exactly what I actually said it was going to be. Some interviews, this is a speech, and I can click on any of those things. You can trust that everything in a database is credible. It's just up to you to figure out if it's relevant. So let's say I want to look at this speech. I just click on the title of it and I get the whole speech right here. Well, I would have to click on a link to get to the whole speech, but this is a typical source that you might find. And over here on the right under Tools, this is where I would send it to Google Drive. Again, that will save my sanity in the long run. From here, I could do a basic search. So in the scroll bar at the top right of or top middle of my screen, I might want to type in George W. Bush. And let's say I want to learn about his relationship to Iraq. So those are the key phrases I'm going to type in. make sure I spell Iraq correctly. And from here, you can see that this is what I'm getting. Again, it gives me the content types over here, gives me some different options that I can just click on if I want to use them. And then, so that's a basic search. I just showed you how to browse topics. I gave you a basic intro on how to do a basic search. And now I want to show you the advanced search. So next to the search bar is a little magnifying glass with a plus sign. So you're going to click on advanced. And now you have just some more options. And let's say George W. Bush. Before I click any of those, you see that there's a drop-down menu. Those are tags for the articles. So the people who added the articles to the database chose tags so that they could be organized. And they work exactly the same as hashtags do in social media. So they can both help and hinder you. They can help you by collecting similar sources and showing them to you all at once. But it can hinder you because look at all of these different tags. So if the uploaders chose one but not two, or some but not all of these, then you might be missing out on something that's really great. So I'm just going to click out of that. And then let's say how about I just say war, right? Instead of Iraq specifically. So I'll say war. And because I could search war singular or wars plural, I want to choose both of those at the same time. So I'm going to use an asterisk, which is the little star above your 8, which acts as a wildcard, because I want to search war and wars and maybe warring, but I don't want to do 3 different searches. That sounds really time consuming. So I'm going to use this asterisk, and then that can search all of those options for me at once. And then I click search. And now, again, you get a list of options of sources with the keywords George W. Bush and war right in them. And you can search by content type right here. So if you want a news article, you just click on news. But let's say I want to look at this article about the war on terror. And this, for example, let's say this looks really good. And I want to use it. Right here on the right-hand side under tools, I can click citation tools. And then it gives me the citation right there, ready to go. I can export it to different options. If you were using Noodle Tools, you can do that. You could also send it to Google Drive, whichever is your favorite, or you can simply copy and paste it and add it to a works cited page, whatever makes you happy. But there you go. So down below in the notes under the video, you can see the different timestamps for the different parts of this video. And if you have any questions, please just ask. Thank you so much. Good luck using databases.